Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who are listening to this lecture. This is Keerthika from Department of Commerce General. Now I'm going to take logistics and supply chain management in this lecture. First thing, supply chain is a global network used to deliver products and services from a raw material to the end customer through an engineered flow of information, physical distribution, and cash. Coming to basics, this picture illustrates a very basic supply chain with three entities: producer with one supplier and a customer. Four basic flows that connect supply chain attributes are as follows: flow of physical material and services from a supplier to the end consumer, and a flow of cash from customer to a raw material supplier. Third one is flow of information back and front along supply chain, and reverse flow of product retained. There are three things which we have to consider in supply chain. First one is a seller. A seller is a supplier who provides goods and services, or a person or organization with whom buyer does a business. Second, supplier provides material, energy, services and components for a product or service such as plastic fabric, electric wiring, or even aircraft. Producers is one who receives components from seller to produce financial products or services such as shift from fabric, crockery from plastic, power from electric wiring, or produce transportation through aircraft. Third one is customer. A customer is one who receives finished products, that is one who wears the shirts, uses rockery, turns into light, or flies in an airplane. So coming to strategies, there are three types of supply chain strategies. First one, reactive, staple, and efficient. Reactive. Staple supply chain strategies appropriate for chains that focus on execution, efficiency, and cost performance. They use simple connectivity technologies and have little need for all-time information. For example, table salt manufacture uses scale production and dedicated capital asset. Coming to reactive supply chain strategies works well when chain to fulfill demand from trade partners. For example, manufacturer of a sport team apparels for fans. When team makes it to next round, more products are needed. However, for losing team, demand virtually disappears. Coming to efficient reactive supply chain, focus on efficiency and cost management on total delivered cost of finished goods. For example, in supermarket chains, distribution centers, logistic providers, and manufacturers cooperate to replace goods sold in shops within less than 24 hours. Then we are going to look into something which is very important, that is flow in supply chain. First one is information flow, which includes invoices, sales literature, specification, receipts, and rules and regulation. Then coming to second one, primary cash flows includes payment of products, suppliers. Third one is primary product flow, includes material component supplies, services, and finished products. Then coming to reverse product flow, which includes return for repairs, replacements, recycling, and disposal. Then the most important thing is we are going to look into some example of supply chain. Consider a supply chain model of a bakery who sells variety of cakes, and this baker is one end of a supply chain. In this case, supplier is a wholesaler distributor, provides ingredients such as flour and sugar. Bakery is a producer who turns the ingredient into variety of cakes. The bakery is operated by an owner who is a retailer who sells cakes to the customer. Then we are going to look into some important thing called supply chain in manufacturing. So consider a complex manufacturing supply chain model that appears in corporate supply chain. In this model, you will notice the second tier of suppliers or more distribution centers or customers. These suppliers supply material as well as services, put manufacturer at the center, and supplies a component to the immediate left. The tier 1 supplies have their own suppliers in tier 2. For example, tier 1 suppliers might be a whole food distributor that purchases flour from its own supplier. This supply chain for flour starts from famous wheat meal, which is supplied to food distributor, produced in a plant, shipped to a wholesaler, and distributed to the stores. Then, no matter how far you travel towards the left, you will never run out of new tiers of a suppliers. Then, the most important thing is we are going to enter into unit 2. First thing is we are going to look into warehouse automation. So warehouse automation is a process of automatic movement of inventory into, within or out of a warehouse within a minimal human intervention. An inefficient warehouse can cause a delay in delivery times, which negative impacts customer experience and incurs unnecessary overhead cost. So, goal of warehouse automation is to reduce repetitive physical work and manual data entry, and that can cause slowdowns in order fulfillment and inventory control. Then, contrary to popular belief, warehouse automation does not always mean physical or robotic automation. So, coming to this, in many cases, it simply refers to using software to replace manual tasks. Deploying an automation strategy does require some upfront costs. However, these costs usually pay for themselves through greater efficiency, increased sales, and improved customer services can enhance the warehouse to automatically run so that the errors in the warehouse can be avoided. The automation helps the warehouse keeper to keep their products in an engaged manner so that the software which has been used in the warehouse can minimize the errors happened by the humans so that human error can be avoided, cost efficient can be improved, and the sales can be increased, and automatically the profit level of an organization will also increase. So that the warehouse automation plays a major role in logistics and supply chain management so that profit and the sales, the time fulfillment and the orders errors can be decreased. So next thing is the most important. Have you ever gone shopping in Uglio or any other store where your shopping list total is magically calculated? Just putting your items in the box at Uglio, they are using radio frequency identification number tags or RFID tags, or attached to their products RFID tags or passive devices, which means they don't have their own power sources. Instead, they rely on reader to send out a radio signal which RFID antenna on the tag picks up or uses to power the microchip inside it, so that the microchip then sends back a unique code to the reader, which the reader uses to identify item and retrieve information from store computer system, so that it can automatically scan whatever the product that has been put into that box that the customer have been purchased. So the chip which has been used to retrieve that RFID antenna on the tags up uses to power the microchip inside it. So now we are going to look into something called multimodal transportation. Multimodal transportation combines different means to move goods through trucks, trains, ships, airplanes and gauges. So now goods are transported using one bill of lading through logistics gateways and hubs to satellite terminals and inland ports, and are finally to our distribution centers. So now look into the multimodal transportation advantages. First one is greater efficiency, and then second one faster movements, third one lower cost, fourth one is last mile connectivity, and finally it is better environment sustainability. So standard containers are used to carry goods. So India's infrastructure strategy is based on multimodal transport. So transferring logistics, the logistics sectors. So now we are going to look into what is containerization. So containerization is a method of packing and deploying application in a lightweight portable containers that include all of the necessary components such as code, libraries, and runtime to application. The containers allow applications to be early moved between different environments, such as from developed environment to a production environment. So, without need to worry about compatibility issues or missing dependencies, they provide consistent isolated environment for application to run in, making it easier to manage and deploy. So, containerization is typically carried out platform like Docker, which now we are going to look into something called CFS operations. Customer broker session has 3 modules. First one is shipping bill NiceGate, then transport operations, and the next one is CFS operations. So, after offloading 120 boxes, trucks leave CFS with a valid gate pass. Then CFS appointed surveyors compare the cargo with documents. Then he will check the number of boxes, weight and measurement with invoice and packing list, so that he may come to know that there is any missing items which have not mentioned in the document. So it is followed by another verification of making and labeling on the boxes by customs preventive officer, so that the product will not be missed. All the 120 boxes are properly stored in CFS warehouse. From that, the concerned person can get the products required. So clearance staff will approach the custom examination officer for cargo examination clearance. Then the staff will submit the custom examination officer the invoice, packing list, and then the checklist for document registration, so that he can come to know that the custom examination officer then verify I-stake updates with invoice, packing list and checklist, then issue examination order. So finally he can get to the transportation of the product. So examination officer come to warehouse to verify the cargo with invoice and packing list in presence of clearance staff, which is cargo examination. After returning to his desk, examination officer issue examination report in customs system, so that the custom examination officer also come to know that there are certain goods which have been transporting. So clearance staff approach the pricing officer with the document. Then a pricing officer check the documents and issue the let export order to the concerned person. So this stage, completion of customs examination, a crucial step in export clearance procedure. So all system updates by custom officer will reflect a NiceGate tracking based on the container booking by forwarder. Empty container reach the container freight station finally, so that the container can be checked easily. The container is ready for stuffing. Clearance staff takes permission from the customs preventive. So the container is ready for stuffing. Clearance staff take permission so that he can look into the container. So clearance staff asks the CFS staff to start stuffing work, so that the producer customs require the permission. So CFS staff assign the laborers to load 120 boxes and provide the containers, so that he can transport the goods required. This is CFS stuffing procedure. Also FCL container stuffing, single chipper cargo in the full container thing, so that the container can be transported to the concerned department without any hesitation. So the serial number should be mentioned in the bill of lading. Second is the customer seal for verification and the post entry gate. Soon after the completion of the container sealing, the truck depart to port from CFS invoice packing, so that the list shipping will inform. 13 must accompany the container for verification at port entry. So after collecting the document, truck departs CFS to ports so that the product can be reached to the customer at the verified concern. So clearance officer asks the concerned staff to start the stuffing work so that the procedure custom permission can be got. So CFS staff assigned laborers to unload the 120 boxes inside the customs officer. This is the end of CFS operations. So now we are going to look into something called logistics information system. So logistic information system is a boundary that helps to change the information system that spanning field of supply, change network organization used to acquire, produced and delivered goods and services on the world. So coming to importance, the cost efficiency purposes is for ensuring the ability to competitively price their products and services, ensure firms meet the need of customers for logistics, so that it can ensure the customer services, so that it can come up with certain things which can satisfy the demand of the consumers. So coming to the major 3 issues in information system, they are: first one is availability of information, second one is accuracy of information, and third one is effectiveness of communication. So that if we overcome these issues, then it will be helpful for the organization to come up with certain logistic system efficiently. So different types of logistic information technologies which is used are barcoding, electronic data interchange, and then artificial intelligence expert system. Then fourth one, data management. Fifth one, RFID technology. Sixth one, imaging. And lastly, it is onboard computers and satellite tracking. So if we look into some important case studies, for example, logistic technologies. So supply chain management information system initiate, monitor and assist in decision making and reports on activity. The following systems modulates, which is enterprise resource planning communication system, then execution system, and lastly its planning. So for that, the information can be enhanced and the logistic can be. Now we are going to look into some important thing called Lean Six Sigma. So first, imagine if you are a manager of a supermarket chain, you have noticed that 2 things need your immediate attention. First issue is how to handle the different kinds of waste that you encounter at your supermarket. Next one is requirements you to address supply chain issues at supermarket which is causing delay to a morning delivery of milk, leading to customer dissatisfaction and attention. These problems can be solved by incorporating 2 most popular quality management methods. They are Lean and Six Sigma. One is famous to ability to handle waste, and another is the process and improvement but methodology that are contributed both Six Sigma and Lean is that could solve your issues well. There is a Lean Six Sigma. So before that, take a close look at the parent methodologies. First, Lean focus on providing value to the customer, eliminating waste, continuous improvement, reducing cycle time. Lean and Six Sigma both able to handle waste. But what is this waste? Then, so what we can look into what actually waste means. So waste is any step, action in a process that user does not gain any value from in short periods that users couldn't want to pay for. So we are going to look at some important things which leads to 8 categories of waste. Transportation. This waste refers to the excess movement of people, tools, inventory, equipment, and then a component. So inventory, if we have an idle inventory, there is cost to the company, so that the profit can be reduced to that company, and it also leads to the reducement of profit. So coming to motion, the time and effect wasted due to unnecessary movement is called the wastage in movements, that it can be either through a people or through the machinery, or we can use some computer technologies. So the next thing is wait. So time wasted waiting on plays a major role in reducing the profit level of the organization. Then coming to overproduction, if we produce unnecessary product other than the demand, then it leads to a waste. So overprocessing, if we find that there is certain needs for a process and we are not doing the required process, it leads to waste. Then defects, the most important thing is if we keep on finding any defects, then no people will be there to buy the products. So skill, this waste refers to the skill which the people have not required for the technical needs of that producing a product. So coming to lean, so may use lean methodology to identify and handle different level of waste. Some of the most popular and effective ones are JIT or 5S or Kanban. So JIT focus on reducing the amount of time production system takes to provide an output and response time from supplier to customer. Coming to 5 years is another methodology focus on cleanliness in organization while improvement of profit and efficiency. Third one is Kanban, is also another popular methodology used to achieve the lean. It is a visual method to management takes and workflows. Kanban enables to visualize the workflow to identify issues in the process and fix them. So these methods is used to optimize the waste production and often used together to maximize the result. That's the first problem solved. So let's have a look at what you can improve in the supermarket supply chain efficiency. For that, let's have a look at the other part of Lean Six Sigma. So Six Sigma is a set of tools and techniques used for process improvement and removing defects. So let's see how Six Sigma makes the possible. Six Sigma has two major methodologies, DMAIC and DMADV. So first, let's have a close look at the DMAIC, since Lean Six Sigma uses DMAIC methodology in Six Sigma. DMAIC is an acronym for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve and Control. It is used to improve existing products and processes so that it can meet customers' requirements in the define phase. You determine what the goal of the projects are to. In this case, you want to reduce the amount of time taken to deliver the milk from the warehouse to the supermarket so that it is stocked on the supermarket shelves before 8:30 in the morning. So it helps the organization to reach. In this phase, you measure the performance of the ascent altered. The milk leaves at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. You can reach. The route A is currently the preferred route as it takes only 60 minutes to reach the supermarket compared to the route B and C. In the analyze phase, you can find why defects exist since route B and C were school bus routes by reducing waste time by 1 hour at 6:30 instead of 7:30 means. Accordingly, the traffic routes B and C takes 40 to 45 minutes to reach the supermarket route. So route A still takes the milk truck 1 hour to get to the supermarket. When the truck leaves at 6:30 a.m. in the improve phase, performance can be improved by adding and eliminating the root causes. Now that you can realize that advancing milk picking by an hour and changing the routes by B can save time, you change the process accordingly. Provide your workers with the ample time to stock milk in the shelves before the morning rush hours, so that in the control phase we can make the regular adjustments to the control we are making for. So thank you so much for this opportunity and patience listening.